without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this first video I got for y'all of Obama speaking 11 years ago. My boy got that
My
swag.
fellow Americans, tonight I'd like
Yes.
to talk with you about immigration.
Okay.
For more than 200 years, our tradition of welcoming immigrants from around the world has given us a tremendous advantage over other nations.
That's a long time.
It's kept us youthful, dynamic, and entrepreneurial. It has shaped our character as a people with limitless possibilities. People not trapped by our past, but able to remake ourselves as we choose.
Okay.
But today, our immigration system is broken,
Oh, is it?
and everybody knows it. Families who enter our country the right way and play by the rules watch others flout the rules.
Really?
Business owners who offer their workers good wages and benefits see the competition exploit undocumented immigrants by paying them far less.
Is Obama racist? Does he hate Spanish people for saying that? I'm gonna just let him finish.
All of us take offense to anyone who reaps the rewards of living in America without taking on the responsibilities of living in America. And undocumented immigrants who desperately want to embrace those responsibilities see little option but to remain in the shadows or risk their families being torn apart. It's been this way for decades. And for decades, we haven't done much about it.
Yeah, a little bit too long, huh?
When I took office, I committed to fixing this broken immigration system. And I began by doing what I could to secure our borders. Today, we have more agents and technology deployed to secure our southern border than at any time in our history.
You notice, if I was to put those last couple words of that last statement and say Trump said it, people would be like, "Oh, he's a horrible person. He hates illegals and all this other stuff." But he literally just said it. But does that make Obama bad?
And over the past 6 years, illegal border crossings have been cut by more than half. Although this summer there was a brief spike in unaccompanied children being apprehended at our border, the number of such children is now actually lower than it's been in nearly 2 years.
I wonder why. Children just decide to end up at the border, or did the parents have incentives to have them bring their children to the border and then let them come over? And I'm not trying to sound senseless, because there are obviously people who are struggling and are trying to find a better life. And I'm not against that as the son of immigrants, but we also have to do it in a way that it doesn't impact the people who are here in our country and are struggling. We shouldn't appease other folks before we appease our own folks, is really the ultimate point. He's making a great case for that. But it seems that when anyone else makes that case, they're labeled racist or a bad person or hateful for even calling people undocumented or illegals, which he used multiple times here in the speech. But we'll let him finish.
Overall, the number of people trying to cross our border illegally is at its lowest level since the 1970s. Those are the facts.
Since the 70s.
Meanwhile, I worked with Congress on a comprehensive fix. And last year, 68 Democrats, Republicans, and independents came together to pass a bipartisan bill in the Senate. It wasn't perfect. It was a compromise. But it reflected common sense. It would have doubled the number of Border Patrol agents while giving undocumented immigrants a pathway to citizenship if they paid a fine, started paying their taxes, and went to the back of the line.
You know, a lot of people like to say, oh, they are paying taxes. There are some who do pay taxes, but the vast majority do not. Not because they don't want to or because they are inherently bad people, but because when you do pay taxes, that then allows the government to know you're undocumented, and at any point in time, they can come for you because there is a law. Even if it is just a civil law or it would be a civil suit, there's still a law that states that if you come into the country illegally, you can be deported.
And independent experts said that it would help grow our economy and shrink our deficits. Had the House of Representatives allowed that kind of bill a simple yes or no vote, it would have passed with support from both parties. And today it would be the law. But for a year and a half now, Republican leaders in the House have refused to allow that simple vote. Now, I continue to believe that the best way to solve this problem is by working together to pass that kind of common sense law. But until that happens, there are actions I have the legal authority to take as president.
Sounds like
The
an
same kinds
executive
of
order.
actions taken by Democratic and Republican presidents before me
That's a
that
really
will
good
help
point.
make our immigration system more fair and more just. Tonight, I'm announcing those actions.
Tell me more.
First, We'll build on our progress at the border with additional resources for our law enforcement personnel so that they can stem the flow of illegal crossings and speed the return of those who do cross over.
Does that sound familiar?
Second, I'll make it easier and faster for high-skilled immigrants, graduates, and entrepreneurs to stay and contribute to our economy, as so many business leaders have proposed. Third, we'll take steps to deal responsibly with the millions of undocumented immigrants who already live in our country. I want to say more about this third issue because
Interesting portion right there where he says we'll take steps to responsibly deal with the people who are illegally coming into the country. It's a bit vague. How are you going to be responsible about it? By deporting them? You know, and a lot of people be like, yeah, well, not how Trump is doing it. Honestly, this might sound callous. I really don't care how it's done. It's done. It is what it is. It's hurting our country. But there's enough people that are causing enough issues for there to be a need to resolve this problem.
it generates the most passion and controversy. Even as we are a nation of immigrants, we're also a nation of laws.
Oh, really? We are.
Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. That's why over the past 6 years, deportations of criminals are up 80%.
Notice that he says, especially those that are criminals, not only if they are criminals. Therefore implying that even if you are a law-abiding citizen, well, technically you wouldn't be a citizen, but if you're law-abiding, it doesn't matter. You can still be deported. I think that's a very good distinction to make because, and I hate to sound like a broken record or sound like I'm defending Trump because I criticize him just as much as I'm willing to criticize the Democrats, but Trump has kind of said all this, and you know, it's really easy to forget this speech.
And that's why we're going to keep focusing enforcement resources on actual threats to our security. Felons, not families. Criminals, not children.
What if those felons have families? What if those criminals are? What if some of those criminals are children? Think the difference between what Trump is doing versus what Obama did. Obama did a lot of things and deported a lot of people, but he also refrained from antagonizing the media.
Gang members, not a mom who's working hard to provide for her kids.
What if the mom is a gang
Prioritize,
member?
just like law enforcement does every day. But even as we focus on deporting criminals, the fact is millions of immigrants in every state, of every race and nationality, still live here illegally. And let's be honest, tracking down, rounding up, and deporting millions of people isn't realistic. Anyone who suggests otherwise isn't being straight with you. It's also not who we are as Americans.
What does that mean?
After all, most of these immigrants have been here a long time. They work hard, often in tough, low-paying jobs. They support their families. They worship at our churches. Many of their kids are American-born or spent most of their lives here. And their hopes, dreams, and patriotism are just like ours. As my predecessor, President Bush, once put it, they are a part of American life. Now, here's the thing. We expect people who live in this country to play by the rules. We expect that those who cut the line will not be unfairly rewarded. So we're going to offer the following deal.
Tell me, what
if
deal?
you've been in America for more than 5 years, if you have children who are American citizens or legal residents,
Okay.
if you register, pass a criminal background check, and you're willing to pay your fair share of taxes, you'll be able to apply to stay in this country temporarily without fear of deportation.
Two things I want to point out. He says, for the people that have been here for at least 5 years. So anybody who hasn't been here for 5 years, got to get the fuck up out of here. That's what it sounds like. Number two, how do you do a background check on someone who's from a country that doesn't have a legal system like ours? How do you do a background check? How do you do a background check from on somebody who comes from a war-torn country? Again, this is where the vagueness kills me because it doesn't make sense. It's like, how are you going to do some of the things that you're saying? Sounds really good. Sounds amazing. Sounds great. Sounds empathetical. But is it really realistic?
You can come out of the shadows and get right with the law. That's what this deal is. Now let's be clear about what it isn't.
Yeah, let's be clear.
This deal does not apply to anyone who has come to this country recently.
Oh.
It does not apply to anyone who might come to America illegally in the future.
Well, I jumped the
It does
gun.
not grant
Look at that.
citizenship or the right to stay here permanently or offer the same benefits that citizens receive. Only Congress can do that. All we're saying is we're not going to deport you. I know some of the critics of this action call it amnesty. Well, it's not. Amnesty is the immigration system we have today. Millions of people who live here without paying their taxes or playing by the rules, while politicians use the issue to scare people and whip up votes at election time.
If this worked the way that he wanted it to work, that he had thought about it working, great. But what I think it does is you create second-class citizens immediately, because now you have people who are not citizens, who are allowed to be here, who now also have to pay taxes, have to follow all the rules that we follow, but they don't get all the luxuries that we get as American citizens. And that's not me making it up. He literally just said it. This is one of those situations where when you listen closely and you start dissecting every word or every phrase, you understand, wait a second, there are very big holes in this plan, one. And two, this sounds really good in theory, but you can't really apply it, especially if you think about it from a logical point of view.
That's the real amnesty, leaving this broken system the way it is. Mass amnesty would be unfair. Mass deportation would be both impossible and contrary to our character.
I mean, Trump's doing it. And I'm curious what he means contrary to our character.
What I'm describing is accountability, a common sense middle ground approach. If you meet the criteria, you can come out of the shadows and get right with the law. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
Oh, look at that.
And to those members of Congress who question my authority to make our immigration system work better, or question the wisdom of me acting where Congress has failed, I have one answer. Pass a bill. I want to work with both parties to pass a more permanent legislative solution. And the day I sign that bill into law, the actions I take will no longer be necessary. Meanwhile, don't let a disagreement over a single issue be a deal breaker on every issue. That's not how our democracy works. And Congress certainly shouldn't shut down our government again just because we disagree on this.
Yeah, I'll stop it there. But I mean, the man is spitting, and it's funny how he can say these things, but when Trump says them, no one likes it. Everybody calls him a fascist, a dictator, trying to, take powers that he doesn't have.